Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 165.
The one with Ghostbusters and Jackasses.
This week on Cup of Rad. Hey everyone, we're back at it. We are here, we are in those ears, we are drilling deep into your brain.
We are really invasive, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We live in there.
You love it.
You need to set up a little campsite up in your brain for us each week.
Oh, I like it.
Pitch a tent and light a fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Crack a few brews.
No, me and Kiddo, we were reading a story for school earlier today, and then it led to us talking about different rooms and different houses and different things and what you would do in these activities, and we were talking about living rooms and family rooms, and then we got to the word of parlor, and I'm talking about like there's all these different rooms of like certain people that you could just hang out and talk with, like all these different styles of rooms that we have. And he's decided when he has a house, he wants a parlor. I don't know why, but he's decided he wants a parlor. So I thought it was kind of funny. So I'm like, you were saying the idea of like a campsite. Well, it's like, or we could have a parlor in your room. Like if it's fancy.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. I've always wanted a parlor, but that's my fancy side.
But it shows like houses and stuff used to be fancy. Now it's like you get one room and that's it.
Right.
One room to rule them all. Like
yeah.
An 8x8 space.
So we were thinking about that. Like it is really funny to think of all the different types of styles of rooms that you had. Like, I mean, I know this is higher end people. It's not, not every house had a parlor, but the different levels of things. Like, do big mansions still have parlors, or are they just called sitting rooms now, or like room one? I don't know. Right, a sitting room, right? It's just weird because I was talking about like
that's my TikTok dance room.
TikTok.
Yeah, that's my photo shoot room. That's my OnlyFans room.
All the different influencer rooms. This is that's how mansion rooms have names now.
Yeah.
Okay, the purpose of them are different now. They're just, no one's invited. It's all just for recording, for sending things out to people.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anyways, tangent number 1, very early on in the podcast.
So what's going on? What's happening? What's shaking? What's making the bacon? What's flipping the...
It's February already. January felt like it was taking forever, but also not at the same time. Like it was a weird...
Oh, it took forever, dude.
It did. It really did. You're right.
It drug on.
Yeah, it did. January took forever.
February's taking forever already, too.
Only a few days in, we're like, I'm over it. The shortest month, and we're already over it. I have February-themed toes now. They're all pretty and pink and red. My sister Ash is like, oh, what are you doing for your toes? I was like, it's February, so Valentine's theme? Like, it has to match. And she's like, of course it does.
And that's all tie into a hint for next week's episode.
Oh, there we go.
Romance. Voulez-vous, vous savez, vous a loulou.
If you say enough V's, it sounds like you're speaking something sexy in French.
Doesn't even need to be French, baby. It could be whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. So what has been going on in the epically drawn out, taking forever days?
Well, we hadn't talked about Mando episode whatever.
The last few, the
Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
So Book of Fett.
You know what's funny is I didn't even question when you said we haven't talked about Mando. I'm like, yeah, we haven't.
Right? So Book of Fett took a surprising turn from its normal formula to showcase Mando season 2.5, which there's pros and cons to it. I think there was they're spicier, more exciting episodes than what we've had, but. I'm sorry for that.
The bubbly's coming up.
But it changed the format completely because then you didn't see Boba Fett for 2 whole episodes.
Yeah.
Right. And but people will correct me. Yes, you saw him.
I was going to
say anything. He was just there in the background in one of them. But it went away from like flashbacks and like deep storytelling and like, this a slow driven to more of a Mando. Yeah. Right.
Well, I thought it was going to originally be a blend of them where it's like, okay, you see Mando's side and now it loops in to the Fett story, but it just kept going with Mando stuff and it didn't loop in enough. So
no, not at all. But that being said, the previous episode, Bryce Dallas Howard's episode, was brilliantly directed. I would love to see her tackle more in the Star Wars universe because I think some of her directed Mando episodes have been some of the best. Because we had, the Darksaber battle with Heavy Mando, right? Which was really epic.
Yeah.
And then we get onto Dave Filoni's episode. And we get lots of mytho and cameos galore.
Yes.
Epic cameos, by all means, though. We get I still think there was some eyes being thrown between Ahsoka and
Luke 100%.
like she giving the whole like we just played hide the lightsaber while Grogu was snapping.
Yes.
Right? Like it was a little like
it was apparent, and if they weren't going for that, I don't know what they were trying. Like,
apparently we're dirty people.
Yeah.
Because that's all I saw.
So yeah, that was surprising. Kiddo he liked seeing the Grogu stuff, but he also was like, so why are we watching so much of the Grogu stuff? Like, get back to the Boba Fett stuff. I think he just wasn't prepared for it. Right?
Yeah, right.
And I know a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah,
as
it was
well,
a bit of a shock, right?
Yeah.
But I think the surprising kind of cameo at the end, which ties into the title of the episode, right? A stranger comes from the desert.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like it went all the way into that.
Right. But like we get to see Cobb Vanth, and then in the background, we saw that shadow, and then
both of us were just like
wait a minute. Wait, hold on. And to see Cad Bane in live action was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was really cool. And the
fact Carius Vanth is okay.
Right.
That's all I want to know. It's killing me that I don't know if he's okay or not. So I care less about the deputy guy. Whatever. He had a mouth on him. But
Cobb Vanth shot the sheriff.
I know.
But he also shot the deputy. So he didn't know the song.
I know. Well, Cad Bane. Cad Bane.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. There are a lot of weird names.
But yeah, so no, they were really fun Mando episodes. But in the Boba Fett show, it slowed it down from what you were expecting. Yeah. Right. Like, and I know it's setting up for something, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next week or so here. And
yeah, I'd be curious to see it. Hopefully, the next one, now that
it should just be all at war.
Yeah, now that he's back, and now with everything that's happening, I really hope some intensity shows. There's 2 more episodes, right? You figured?
No, I think there's only 8.
So there's only 1 more episode?
I think so.
My goodness.
I think that's what it says.
Yeah, you said there's 8.
Stall for time.
Stalling for time?
Yeah, talk about something. No, actually talk about something. Don't like weird ass music.
So I understand Luke's making Grogu choose between the lightsaber and the Mando armor, but that was also really just sad, because it's like, oh, you care about your past and this is really awesome. That's nice. Look at the shiny new toy that you can only have if you give up everything. You sure you don't want the shiny little lightsaber of death? Come on, I know you want this. And yeah, he was just, I understand it, but it also was like, dude, come on, like, give him a chance a little bit. Like you're just being like, really just cut the heart out of the Jedi
Mando's gift there, right? There's 7 episodes that they're showing right now.
So. Okay, so yeah, so they're, I forget when we had looked, you said, oh yeah, there's still 2 more, but that was in 6 episodes. So yeah, that was really sad to see. And it was like, it's cool that he still had Yoda's lightsaber and all that sort of stuff, but
yeah,
Yeah.
But like, okay, I'm gonna throw this out there though. Yoda never showed him his lightsaber that we know of course, in the movies. So like, did Luke ransack the shit out of the little man's hut? He totally did. Like, yeah. What was he looking for when?
Because he would have never known.
When Yoda died, he didn't even have to try to bury Yoda. Yoda just disappeared. He could have just pieced out. But like, Luke full on went through all Yoda's drawers.
Yeah, because I mean, he never even spoke about it. They're not like they ever did lightsaber training, right? Mm-hmm. Who taught him how to use a lightsaber, though?
Well, he did a little bit.
With Yoda,
so but Yoda never showed him Yoda's lightsaber.
Yeah, I know. So, but maybe that was the unspoken like plan that I have one. Here it is, and he was just like, "Oh, you disappeared. Yeah, this is mine now, bitch."
I'm just saying, he
like, why would he have ever thought I need a little tiny lightsaber sometime in my future?
Hey, maybe he thought for his child, but then Jedi aren't supposed to have children. So never mind. Strike that from the record. Strike that.
Luke just wanted something to remember Yoda by.
Yeah, but then they're not supposed to have
attachments. So he needed to use it as a tool. I don't know what he wasn't going to be returning it anywhere.
Maybe he
wanted to protect it so that no one else came across it.
That's the noble idea.
In the swamp of Dagobah.
Yeah.
You know, randomly.
I still think he ransacked himself looking for like Yoda porn.
Really? You went there?
The Yoda sex tape.
What the hell's wrong with you?
That's how he wasn't surprised when he knew about Grogu. Oh. Because he knew about Yoda and Yaddle's illegitimate sex baby.
Wow. Things got weird.
And that's why he knew he had to go find it.
I like that you use the word sex baby.
I couldn't think of the word at the time.
Opposed to another type of baby. I like it.
Illegitimate love child. That's what I was looking for, and it came out the other way.
Sex baby. Yes.
I could have said butt baby, but that's the wrong show.
Yeah. Yep. And it has been proven we are just dirty people.
I full on expect to see Cobb Vanth versus Cad Bane again, though.
Yeah.
And Cobb Vanth's gonna come back with a robotic arm.
Sweet.
I don't know.
Well, like
Terminator arm.
I mean, why not? Okay, so
we can hold up the Gatling gun.
We have all those kids modding themselves with things, so why wouldn't they be able to?
Yeah.
They rebuilt Fennec with, I mean, she's mostly robot.
Yeah.
So
she's
why
more
not?
Machine than woman.
Good catch.
Yeah.
I almost said it, but you corrected it. Oh, good. Yeah. It's good. So, that's a Star Wars update.
Hey, you know what I thought was interesting though? What? This is a weird like side rant and all that. And it's not, it was, I'd seen someone complaining about the fact about Fennec being more machine, right? Mm-hmm. And how that wasn't Star Wars-esque. And then I sat back and was like, well, no, Vader.
I was going to say.
Vader's the original cyborg. And like, for that, like.
He's only basically machine.
Yeah. And so then it confused me.
Because, he maybe has a weird little, like, torso of human flesh, but he doesn't survive by himself. Luke has a fake arm, a fake hand, like
everybody. Yeah, and that's the thing. I've seen people complain about it, like, but it's like, there's so much modification in the Star Wars universe.
No one has done it on a choice basis that we had seen. It's all been Fennec obviously was not a choice, but I'm talking about like the mod guys, right?
But how do we know that they modded themselves? So maybe they did lose things. They never said that I modified myself because I wanted like.
Well, it's like, okay, so there's a guy that had like the robot eyes, but maybe he went blind. We don't know that.
We don't know.
Don't judge their stories. No one knows why people do things.
So
everyone has a story.
And every science fiction though
has people do that.
Well, no, when it gets into the future, we always modify in something. Like every like Batman Beyond, there's the splicers. They turn themselves into cat people.
You think we wouldn't do that in our world right now?
We're trying.
Like, of course we would.
People are trying.
Yeah.
Like
just because you can doesn't mean you should. But that's how we live.
So science will find, ways to do other things versus save us.
Oh,
they'll find ways to give us a tail before they'll figure out how to cure something.
Because they can make money on tails.
Yeah.
They can't make money on
You can
cures.
always make money on tail.
And it's right back there in the car.
And that would be the slogan.
Right?
That would be the slogan.
I like that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to find a reason to have to use that slogan.
Cattails?
No, you can always make money on tail because it sounds funny.
We'll make cattails for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little clip-on cattails.
Someone out there is being like, there's a plug for that.
Yeah. All right. Ideas into the interwebs, and people are writing them down going, yeah, I'm going to make some cattails, and there we go. And then they'll become millionaires, and we'll just be sitting here going, son of a...
Right.
Anyways, you know what? Another show we watched,
Mm-hmm.
we've been watching, because, we haven't talked about it, but we're still loving every moment of it. Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about the fact
show.
that the other episode from the week prior, we got to see a dude kill a gorilla with a chainsaw.
Right?
Like,
that was amazing.
it was insane.
Like not just like cut off his head or something, but like gut him. It was epic.
It was pretty wild.
It was brutal.
It was pretty bloody.
Yeah.
But this show is amazing. I am loving
Maybe
it.
Grodd is an alien butterfly.
They could use that. Yeah, they could use that. Pew. That would probably also... But wasn't he like
No.
a comet or something?
Yeah, he's not actually a butterfly, but like,
Space comets?
yeah, it's the poisoning from the special rocks there and everything like that. The extraterrestrial meteorites. So.
Yeah.
But full of butterflies.
Full of butterflies. Fair game.
Yeah.
In the last episode, Katie's favorite, hero, up and coming hero, got to shine.
Yes. You got to rip people's eyeballs out.
It's like you forgot about all the other things Eagly did, and you were just like, ripped a man's eyeball out. I'm like, you would watch an entire Eagly show, wouldn't you?
No, it's only good with the dynamic between them. He was just like, I'm protecting you, Peacemaker. Dive bombing people.
I want to see that in animation from Eagly's point of view, with that voiceover in his head too. Like that's
I've got you, bro.
As he swoops in each time.
Swoops in and takes them out. Yeah.
Okay, that's how you envision Eagly to sound too when he does it.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, good to know. And that's why you smile so much when you watch the show, because you're having your own delusions.
I found a Snapchat filter of an eagle.
Oh yeah, she did.
I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, Mike. There's this eagle flying up from behind him that lands on my shoulder. It's just hanging out. And he's like, is that a Peacemaker snap? I was like, nope. It's just random eagle on my shoulder Snapchat filter. And it was, why did that show up on my you might like?
Because it hears you.
Because the world knows.
It knows you love eagles.
Brain waves going on, man. Anyways, Peacemaker.
Yeah, that was a pretty epic episode though, with
Peacemaker playing the piano.
Peacemaker playing the piano.
Yeah. That was like heartfelt.
Yeah.
This is a good show. It's full of every emotion, man. Like, I can't get I love it so much, right?
I'm super sad when it's over.
I'm already like sad knowing that it's almost over.
Right? There's only 2 episodes left.
Right?
I don't know what we're gonna do.
It's gonna be a sad day, man.
Just gonna have to cancel HBO Max.
So, his dad putting on his white dragon suit full of around all of his white hooded terrible friends.
Mm-hmm. Terrible friends.
That was scary.
It's like the politest way of saying it ever.
Racist assholes? Is that better?
Yeah. It was just those guys in hoods, they're terrible. Don't you know? They're the bad guys of the situation. But they're his buddies.
It was definitely a cult look to it, eh?
Oh yeah.
Of them helping him put his costume on and being like, that was terrifying. Well done. That it was eerie. It was like, this makes me uncomfortable. So
Cena does play the piano. Mm-hmm. Peacemaker plays the piano. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but there was a poignant story behind that scene that James Gunn had shared. And if you hadn't seen that on Twitter, the story is basically that he was James Gunn himself, while shooting Suicide Squad, was going home because his dog was sick, and they had said he was going to be passing away. So he wanted to run home and spend some time with him. And Mr. Cena was at the hotel bar waiting with Mr. Gunn and to get picked up. And he got up and just goes over and starts playing the piano and started playing the Pixies' Where Is My Mind? And James Gunn said like it was like just this crazy emotional moment. So he wanted to take that memory and that feeling and put it into the show and give the chance for Peacemaker to have that same kind of like transitional like phase almost.
Well, because he's so bad at expressing his emotions.
Yeah.
So, you know, and music in general is a way for people to express emotions that might have a harder time with it. So it's a great transcendent tool. Feeling. Right. Yeah. So
there's a lot of music in this last episode.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
But yeah, so this last episode that was written by, or not written, he wrote it all, but directed by Gunn as well. So
it was?
Yeah. And there was a lot of like those horror nod roots, you know, like Slither and stuff like that with, you know, the
butterflies
aliens,
taking over
the cops and all that, right? And the slow-mo like ripping through and like the eerie like Joker-esque smiles that they all had.
It was so uncomfortable watching the butterflies take over people. Like obviously it's funny when you think about, there's something inside controlling you. I think I was a little ignorant feeling of it. I didn't think about the concept of how that would actually happen.
Yeah.
I kind of had like a supernatural demon thing going on where it was like the spirit. No, it's an act. It's not just a spirit or something. Like there is a physical being in your brain.
Yeah. Burrowing into your head.
Meat puppet thing going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was brutal for it. And it kind of just was like, oh yeah, this is why they're so terrible, because they are, you know, there is no way that a human is going to survive after this. Their brain is gone, you know. I don't understand how a human body can lose that much blood and still be functioning. I don't know how the butterfly doesn't kill its host by doing that, but I digress. I mean, who knows?
It goes up into the little computer and pushes buttons.
So I don't know how that works, but okay, cool.
Also the giant butterfly tongue comes out of the mouth. So
so we're just going to suspend some reality there. But yeah, it was definitely brutal and scary to think about. And it feels very overwhelming at the moment to have this giant force. But yeah, this smile, I like the way that the Queen had said, you know, like every face is different. You have to relearn it every time, and shows that how much they have to actually kind of wire into that person's body and figure out how their, you know, mechanics work and how different people are. But
and then that also shows that then like you're saying though, how many have they maybe taken over?
Yes.
Because they had to relearn things from people, right?
So yeah, how many has she actually then left in her wake from things, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely creepy. So
I'm looking forward to seeing where that all goes, because you know I was excited for this series, and it's paid off.
Yeah,
like it's
so much better than I could have even imagined.
Yeah,
right?
I'm having so much fun with it. So
he's developed Peacemaker's character so nicely. Like
you still want him to succeed, to be a hero.
Yeah,
I'm still rooting for him to be the good guy. Well,
because he is not done anything really evil, you know, and I love that he's like, I don't want to kill people anymore.
Yeah.
And he's really, you know, it's such a poignant story about overcoming your environment that you grew up in, or past traumas that you've had, or experiences and choices that would have been really hard to say no to.
Yeah.
And that you can change. It's that second chance thing. Yep. So there's a lot of like big philosophical things in this for something that seems relatively shallow on its exterior, right? Yeah. So
totally.
So back to sex tapes. Because, you know, why not? I forgot we started watching Pam and Tommy that showed up on...
Is it Pam and Tommy or Tommy and Pam?
Pam and Tommy. It's Pam and Tommy. I know it sounds funny then, but yeah, it's because I remember he had actually said Pam and Tommy on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus.
I know. It feels weird to say that.
It's on Star Plus.
But it's Disney Plus.
I'd seen a good meme. It was basically like, Disney Plus goes around the world and it's, becomes a slut. Like, right? Because in the States, you just get Disney Plus. There's it's just there. PG, like PG-13 at the most when it comes to like the Marvel stuff, but then you have to get Hulu if you wanted this other stuff. But we get both. We get everything that's on Hulu on Disney Plus. You just have to put in a code if you want R-rated stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing of like, let's boot up Disney Plus and watch this show about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby.
Right. So on Disney Star Plus, we'll just put that all together. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So it's Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee and the infamous sex tape, and in general their relationship. So it's based on the startup. You get to it starts in the current time of them, getting renovations and what led to them having the sex tape stolen, inadvertently stolen. And then you have a flashback to when they actually met and how everything happened up until then. It kind of comes full circle back to the beginning there, and how quickly everything moved around. So they had only known each other for 4 days before they actually got married. Because that's exactly, well, it's a rock star and like a sex symbol actress, right? So I mean, I don't know much. I didn't know much history other than just who they were, and there was a sex tape, but I mean, when it actually happened, I was still a child, so I shouldn't have known back when it happened.
It was everywhere then.
But I mean,
I even knew about it.
You knew about it, right? And
it was on every tabloid. It was on every like news station. It was,
well, yeah, right. It was everywhere, right? So but I am just blown away by how the character, their costume transition is just unbelievable.
Sebastian Stan
and Lily, right? No, Sebastian Stan is Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
And like it's so impressive because every single time I look at him, I have to take a moment to remember who he is as an actor, which is impressive, right? But he's done a really good job of transforming into that character.
Lily James.
I couldn't remember her last name. I read some of the prosthetics that she uses, obviously a chest enhancement. Yeah. But there's a prosthetic even on her head to make her forehead bigger and her hair reset because she's got a smaller forehead than Pamela Anderson. So stuff like that actually really transformed her, and they were talking about how difficult it was to keep her eyebrows even, because Pamela Anderson had such very stereotypical 90s thin eyebrows. I know Sebastian Stan, he was saying that his hardest thing to deal with was actually the hair, keeping his hair all intact. But they had prosthetics for everything to transform them. And I mean, his tattoos that he had and his penis.
Yeah. That talks.
It talks to him. Puppeting a penis there, right? Yeah. So, but their transformation was impressive. They really look like different people. Yeah. And so we've watched two episodes out of the 3 that have dropped so far. And it's definitely interesting. And then you see it and you're like, how they very much, like, Tommy Lee is an asshole. He is a rock star, an epitome of a rock star, just thinking he's better than everyone else, right? Yeah. And, but at the moment, you feel bad for Pamela Anderson because she definitely fell prey to the bad string of men that she was attracted to, and she so badly wanted away from that, but she just kept repeating that. And just to talk about a bad influence for sure, right? But, I mean, their romance, though, apparently, looking things up, have lasted. It was definitely one of the longest marriages that they both had, that she definitely had, was the longest marriage for him. And then they went back together a little bit too, and but definitely not a healthy connection. And you can see then from the start and how everything's kind of going, right?
Drugs and alcohol, right?
Yep.
So like Seth Rogen plays the guy that gets the sex tape.
Yeah, so he's a carpenter in their renovations that they're doing. Yeah. And basically, he gets screwed for money wise, so he goes back to take stuff. So you don't feel bad at all that they got this stuff stolen. Like, I don't feel bad whatsoever. And And so it was definitely an accident because I never knew anything about like how it actually happened and how it leaked, because nowadays it wouldn't be a surprise on how something could get leaked. Yeah. You know?
Because back then it was dirty, you know, like, high 8 tape.
Right? Like it had to be physically taken. Yeah. And so that was interesting.
I just don't know how they're going to do 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I just don't know how it's going to go unless it's going to go into
especially now, because with them already flashing back to what's going on, like there's no more flashback to deal with. We've already looked through those, 96 hours idea, right? And
so I'm assuming he's going to go through the legal battles and things like
everything
that
was, and the fallout of what had happened, right? So
but it just seems a whole lot like you thought it was a movie.
Well, yeah, I did originally, and then you're like, no, it's a series. What?
Yeah.
Because there was, there's a legal battle, and they eventually settled and everything for it, right? But to find I know they show more of the Baywatch. I know there's trailers and showing her actually on set, but fallouts on what would have happened, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it does seem like there's a lot, because there's already a lot happened in 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. Because it sounds like the next one is pretty much how they figure out, how to get it from what they have to how they actually distributed it, right?
Yeah.
So it's so funny to think about, like that was like almost the original sex scandal that came out, and now something like that doesn't have nearly the power as it did then,
because everyone has one now, it seems like,
right? And now it became almost known, right? And I know it's because she was such a high sex symbol too.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. So it was interesting when she had gone down to Mexico there, and they're doing like a syndicated conference idea, and just watching all the old men just clamor around her, right? I mean, there wasn't a single woman in the entire conference.
Yeah. And that was the 90s for you.
Right?
So, but no, it's been interesting so far. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. It was definitely
well done. It was weird seeing Seth Rogen as such a different character.
Yeah.
Than normal, right?
So it's wild seeing so many actors and stuff starting to pick up a lot more television series and stuff, right? Like, because you can tell that film is dying, and streaming series are where it's at for the money now, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of, what have we talked so far now? All about TV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because there's not many movies coming out, right? And they're harder to get to because it's getting harder to even just the timing. They're not as many showing because they have to do all the sanitation and all that, right? Exactly. So there's we considered seeing Scream at some point, but there was only like 2 showings.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And then once something is popular, then it just takes over the theater. Right?
Yeah. So, but you know what? We are more television.
Yeah.
It's the weekly Thundercats. Oh.
Update.
You didn't join in.
No, I didn't. I wasn't sure. I missed out on the hoe.
You did.
I did. I lost it.
You missed out on being a hoe this time.
I know. I'm here, though. I responded. I'm at attention.
So we got to dive back into the 2011 Thundercats reboot. We were checking that out again this weekend. And we got 2 episodes. They on the outside, they kind of felt like filler, but at the same time, they had so much depth towards the character development of some of the core cat members.
Yes, which is impressive because, in the original one, there was no development at all to the other characters. It was just like, we're not going to question why Kit and Kat are children. And we're not going to question about anything like that. And so now we got to see more explanation as to how they came to be and backgrounds and histories and everything. So, so the first one we watched actually was, we got to learn about Tigra. Mm-hmm. So we're in mountain passes, and they find this cave, and they venture into this cave, and they find the Lost Tiger Clan. Mm-hmm. And so this is Tigra's father and his family. And he basically is like, his dad keeps telling him, like, it's great to see you, but at the same time, you need to leave. You're not supposed to be here. And because there's these demon monsters that haunt the cave, and these basically it's too late. We're leaving now. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then they just disappear. And all of a sudden there's these terrible demon creatures that apparently don't die.
Yeah.
And they get attacked. And so, and his father just keeps pushing him away because, of course, it's why did you... So we learn how Tiger came to be part of how he became prince. Because I always wondered that. Like, okay, so they keep saying, "Oh, brother." Well, how obviously he's a stepbrother, and what's happening with this, right? So yeah, he showed up in Thundera on a little hot air balloon, and he was the basically the queen couldn't get pregnant, and they adopted him until they were able to have Lion-O. So you can see that initial parts of that rage there as a child was that Lion-O's mother died in childbirth. So he's like, basically that day I lost the two things I cared about, my crown, basically, because he was originally going to be the prince, and his mom. And so you really feel for him, and you can see why he has so much rage towards Lion-O. That's not Lion-O's fault, but that's what happened, right?
Well, it's the pride aspect, right, that they talk about in that whole episode of like tigers have pride, and that's their downfall. Their biggest problem is pride, right?
Yeah.
So what do we find out about the creepy little creatures, the demons? That they are the tigers.
Yes.
The tigers were dead all along.
Kiddo's like, you mean they're zombies? So yeah, basically there was a disease that went through their clan, and they tried to strike a bargain with
because the tigers were the only animal that stayed loyal to Mumra during the rebellion,
probably because their pride. And because they would have to admit that they followed the wrong leader.
So then they knew about the ancient spirits of evil, but they just called them ancient spirits. And the ancient spirits were like, kill Tigra and then you can all live. And they're all like, damn. So then that's when the king sends off his...
Yeah, he can't kill his son. So, of course, then they get cursed because they couldn't fulfill the promise. So, basically then his council basically holds him responsible for it. And they're going to kill Tigra there because it's like, well, now we can fulfill the prophecy, right? Or the bargain. So, but then... because he didn't, so his dad didn't want to tell Tiger. Lion-O found out about this because I was impressed with Lion-O. He's like, there's something wrong. Yeah. These monsters showed up. They just not seeing. Disappeared. And so I like that even for him. It was that step up of, really thinking about the situation, not just blindly
charging following.
In. Yeah. So it showed he actually had learned from his trials, right? Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to tell Tiger if you don't, right? Yeah. And his dad just couldn't break down. He couldn't take his pride. And he would rather have Tiger hate him than to actually admit that he had done something wrong. Yeah. And so then he goes and he protects Tiger from the council, and then Tiger forgives him and breaks the curse, which was just so heartwarming. And
then they all disappear.
Yeah, and then they basically remove their curse, and then they turn to bright shiny light instead of dust because they're actually dead. Yep. But it was cool because Tiger then got some understanding about it, about his past, but definitely that reminder that pride can be such a curse. It's a symbolism for that, right? And because he's always so much like, I'm right. I'm always right. I always know what I'm doing. I can't do anything wrong. And he's just always ready to fight about it. Yeah. And that's not going to help anything.
Not at all.
So that was really awesome to see.
Right. Kit and Kat, we got to find out about their past and the fact that they were like on a farm with their family and vegetable farmers. And they went to go find an ancient city because their dad had died in a tornado.
His dad always talked about this ancient city of plenty. Yeah. Because they had 2 other siblings as well, too. So.
And so they ended up piecing out to try to find it and end up
because their mom was starving. And
on the streets and stealing. And so that it's all about them having to fend for themselves because
they're trying
Panthro and Chitara are trying to have them go out and kill things.
Yeah, they're like basically like, you don't know how to fend for yourself. You don't know how to hunt. So you're going to die.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, they end up fighting the giant mole skunk boar thing and saving these bird deers.
Well, because we have to try to, trap this animal, and they just couldn't they couldn't kill it because then they'd be taking a family member away.
Yeah.
And it was very poignant for them. They're like, why would we want to take the dad away from this family? He's helping train them and protect them. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then they bring home fruit instead. And so, yay for the win.
Right.
But, you know, the more I watch the series, I'm really sad that it is shortened. You know, there was a whole second season planned, but it just never got the ratings and the toy sales and all that, so which caused them to cancel it. So it's one of those ones where...
So it's written, they should just finish it.
Yeah, animate it and voice it, and, you know, I don't know if it's fully written, but it was planned, I heard.
Most people are still around doing voice acting, so come on.
So it'd be really cool to see that, you know, like, that's something where you're something like HBO Max, seeing as Warner's owns it, they should just finish it. Just give it an ending, right? Because it was supposed to go, so what I read was it was only supposed to go to 65 episodes or something like that, to be in the similar time frame of the other one or something. I don't know. But
they weren't planning on just trying to go forever anyway.
So it would just be like another 2 seasons or something kind of idea.
So they could stretch that out for 5 years. I mean, come on.
But like, you know, wouldn't it be with it? Because the animation is awesome with the anime inspired, like, and it's fluid. It's, you know, it's really cool. And it's cool to see them take, you know, I think it's kind of the idea of like doing a reboot almost right. Because like, as much as I had said in a few episodes ago about how much, you know, there's those moments where I wish it was certain characters popping up in these scenarios. Like today, I was like, well, I'm surprised this wasn't a, you know, Snowman of Hook Mountain episode, right? Yeah. But it's like they basically are just taking the mythos and creating their own at the same time, and just building on it in some form. So it's just, you wish you could, you know, see more of it, but I like the different attention being given to the different cats, understanding a little bit more of their different actions and other different principles being spoken about without that same like today's lesson feel, right? Being a bit more of a rich depth of a story. And I think that's amazing. So I think they've done a great job with it. So and that has been your weekly Thundercats recap. We got to check out a movie. It showed up on demand. It was one we were waiting for because it didn't have a very long theatrical window. It was like here and gone faster than, you know, forever. Yeah. Like, I think it only played in our theater for like 1 weekend, and we were busy that weekend. Right. It just kind of came and went. Yeah, right. So it was always one that I was waiting for to come out. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah, finally showed up on demand. It was like a month later than we thought it was going to up here, but it showed up. Yeah. But it was a heck of a lot cheaper. Yeah. So it was only $6.99, so it was like going to the old Blockbuster and picking up a that was DVD. Or VHS. So Ghostbusters Afterlife. It is the third installment in the Ghostbusters franchise that follows the same storyline. Yes. As the other one that came out in 2016 or 17 was its own universe. So this here is a direct sequel to Ghostbusters 2, which came out they reference 84. They only talk about 84. Yeah, that's the only because this is like it's like really direct connection to the first Ghostbusters. Yeah, they like kind of ignore Ghostbusters 2 even in this. They don't talk about Ghostbusters 2. I don't understand. Like that seems like a much bigger event that would have happened, and yet, you know, they just kind of ignore the fact that the Statue of Liberty walked around and there was all the ghosts in New York. But hey, you know, whatever. But that was also not the favorite one of, I know Bill Murray hated Ghostbusters 2. Oh, so they just didn't want to talk about it at all? Right, because it was like the studio, because they then made the cartoon, the studio made them want to make it more goofy, right? Because it's more silly. There's a lot less edge in Ghostbusters 2. Which is why I watched it more as a child versus the first one. So. Gotcha. So this is many years later. It's in a farm and in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Some Smallville town. Oklahoma, actually. Somerville. Yeah. That's Oklahoma. So obviously, I mean, this first scene is really impressive. Like, it definitely gave, like, what's going on vibes and kind of a creepy action thing going on. Mm-hmm. But there was some sort of spirit and now a dead man. And, like,
malfunctioning equipment that you can assume look like Ghostbuster type things because there was a trap and everything. And then it shifts to a family, a mom and her 2 kids that, you know, her father had passed away and all left them just this farm in the middle of nowhere. So family goes out to the town. And so it was their grandfather, and he was the crazy guy that lived out on the farm.
Dirt farmer.
And it's them fitting into a new town and trying to solve also the mysteries of why he was out there.
Because the mother hates him because he ran away and disappeared.
Yeah.
Right. It was like he just pieced out on us. He was all scientist and
cared more about that than us. And so there's a lot of rage there for everything. So, but then there's weird things that are going on in the town. Weird earthquakes happening. So Paul Rudd is the summer school teacher who is also a seismologist, and he's been studying the earthquakes there, and he's trying to explain that they're more like an explosion that happens every day, and they don't know the cause of it. And we find out it's a tomb, that this is like the original like Gozer portal. And
the same guy that made the building in Ghostbusters 84 made this was
well, because he was mining this metal from this town, and the metal, very unique type of metal that you wouldn't normally make I-beams out of for buildings. He had created this and brought this chunk of this metal to the building that was in New York, which they're saying basically what allowed what happened in New York to occur, brought that connection and then that portal for Gozer. He's the one that created the town too. They find this like old map of the Somerville in cuneiform. And we're like, this doesn't make sense, you know? So there's a lot of cool mysteries. My favorite scenes was Paul Rudd getting super excited about science. He played that happy character so well, of being excited about the chaos and the uncertainty and the risk and the punk rock of science. And I just thought that was super awesome, because he's just so full of wonder about, like, how are you not excited about this map that doesn't make any sense? Like, I want to know what's going on.
There should be no reason why it should be a cuniform map. Like, and it's older than this town. It's older than America. Like,
and their mom is just like, I don't care, whatever. It's garbage. Like, it's just, she's just angry about science in general. She hates it because it took her father away. So you understand it, right? So it's all about them trying to figure out what's going on to help it. And so kind of uncovering they find the Ecto-1, and they, all finding all the nostalgia of all the different equipment. And Paul Rudd's character, he tells them about everything that happened in the Ghostbusters, 1, because he knows all that sort of stuff. And he's like reliving his childhood suddenly, right? So
hey, it's kind of weird, and kind of this. So he left before he became a Ghostbuster.
Who? Really?
Egon.
Really?
Because there was a picture on the wall that said 83.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
So so that
doesn't make any sense, though.
It does. Because she's way older than me.
Oh.
Right?
So he left the family before that. Oh, okay.
He went off to become a ghost. Like, he went off to do
all of that before, so he left the family itself.
So unless,
Because, there was no mention of him having a family, and... And, by the time his age in that time period... Because, they would have only been my age. Because they have a 17-year-old son.
Yeah, there'd been no way for... Because he has a relationship, a hint of a relationship with Janine in the first one. Then, right? Like... So, like, there's no way there's no way he could have had her and have her have those kids by the time. And then when you see the wall with all the pictures at the end,
because it had to have happened.
There's a post-it note that had an 83 on it, like from like a play or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that would have made sense then, because.
So that's then why she wouldn't have talked about the Ghostbuster stuff to her kids, because they would be even more mad that he had taken off to pursue science
and had done all that, because Yeah, that would have made sense. So he didn't just, because the way she sounds when she talks about it is that he just took off to go move to this farm in the middle of nowhere. But, everything that else would have happened. It's all his adventures,
right? And all his everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right timeline wise. So there you go.
So science is bad. It breaks families to pieces.
No, it's magical. Well, it's punk rock, so what can I say? It's risky.
The film itself is beautifully shot. It's stunning to look at. It is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of nostalgia, especially seeing Ecto 1 and the proton packs. And it's a completely safe film when you look at it. When it comes to,
there's no problem showing kiddo.
Yeah, it is literally. If you took kind of like a Goonies, J.J. Abrams 8mm mixed with Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is solely a family film.
Yeah.
How I view it is it's basically for guys or families our age or a little bit older that have kids that don't want to watch the old Ghostbusters. And you're like, no, trust me, it's cool. We're going to watch it. And then it's like a gateway to have them go back and watch the old Ghostbusters if they haven't.
I want to find out what actually happened.
Yeah. That's how the movie really comes across to me.
Yeah.
I do have my problems with it because there is a lot of nostalgia for almost the sake of nostalgia, for the fact that they're still dealing with Gozer. You get the Stay Puft Minis, which I think it was a huge mistake for them to show that pretty much most of that scene in like on their Facebook media and all that, really? Like that, like the whole thing with Paul Rudd with them and the thing like that was out before the movie came out. Right?
Oh yeah, I never saw it. At least that helped.
Well, I avoided showing it to you. Right, I follow Ghostbusters.
I just knew about the pops, so right? I knew that they would show up and do.
But so there are those little things, right? Like.
We take issue, by the way, with the store having live electrical outlets for the appliances and also propane in the barbecues.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
That was one
people would do that. They would start up barbecuing in the middle of the store.
Right? Like so. And also too, I have been to bigger city Walmarts and smaller city Walmarts. And that thing was stocked. That was a beautiful Walmart.
That was a fake Walmart right there. That was Walmart pretending to be something else.
Right.
It's like, this is how we think our stores look. I want to do like what they think they are, what they actually are. That's someone please find a little town Walmart and send a picture.
Right.
And be like, this is how Walmart actually is.
Yeah. It was clean outside. It was clean inside. The shelves were stocked. There was product everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it looked nice.
Yeah. So
there was no homeless people.
Issues with the Walmart scene.
It definitely was the Hollywood version of Walmart. But it's one of those movies where I enjoyed it. It was interesting. It was fun. I laughed. I had a good time. Like there was a lot of good acting and all that. The end with the cameos and all that, with the Ghostbusters showing back up, was great to see them.
Successfully cheered up.
But at the same time, I struggle with the fact that it was like nostalgia overload where it didn't really propel it to go anywhere.
I wish that they could have talked about him going there because of Gozer. They could have talked about all that sort of stuff. But then I wish there had been another threat, a different threat that wouldn't have been just like a continuation of Ghostbusters Part 2 idea, right? And there wasn't enough of the other of anything else going on.
Yeah, because they only ever battled one other ghost.
Yeah, we had one other ghost, and that was so relatively similar to the idea of Slimer.
Yeah,
and then Gozer, and that was it. And it's like, I know that the point of the story was learning a lot more about themselves and accepting of the family and kind of finding that the connections for things, but at the same time it's still a Ghostbusters movie, so having a little bit more of other things, because they just keep saying, well, we haven't seen a ghost for how many years, so then why would we suddenly see a ghost now? Like, what's the purpose of going forward? It's not like if they hadn't been successful and something had been opened or something, that would have made more sense for another future thing to happen, right?
Yeah.
But So that was.
I guess they're hinting at that very end credit scene with the light blinking at the containment unit.
True.
In New York.
Yeah. So they're just undoing everything that originally happened in it all, and they're just gonna redo it all.
Like, yeah, whoa. Because, I don't know. Like it.
But we can't have the original Ghostbusters showing back up. I mean, they're old.
Yeah.
We need to move it on, with things. And
well, I'm assuming that's what they're hoping to do with Winston's company to maybe
recruit new Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters
Will the fans
International.
accept it?
Well, if the regular that was always something. I always expected them to try to, even if some of the ones that didn't want to be part of it, like for the longest time, Bill Murray didn't want to be part of it and all that. But I was like, why not you just get the originals to do a Torch movie?
Yeah.
Train a new crew.
So then you actually have
International
them
or something, right?
To set it off.
Having. So maybe that's what they're going to plan on doing is having like that feel where they're going to create, because they did it in the comics.
Yeah.
IDW's comic. It was like they created.
And that would be, and it is perfect with Winston talking about how he started something small and grew it to something huge. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
He knows how to grow things with that. So it's a perfect setup for him. So
that's sort of like, this is like the reinvigoration feel, like remember the nostalgia. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to try to go forward with something else, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one. It's a hard one because it was enjoyable. It was kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it didn't meet that like, I really want to add it to my I normally watch this routine.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like if I'm going to watch a Ghostbusters movie, I'm still going to go back and want to watch the first one. Yeah. Like it did make me want to go back and watch the first one. Like I kind of want to watch the first one.
I am too. Because Kiddo doesn't remember it too.
Fully,
so
right? So maybe we need to do Ghostbusters 1 and 2 because like that, and then is that the goal then of it is like
to go back to that.
To make you go back and watch the old ones. Like is that the
right? So
remember.
Right?
The little Mufasa head shows up. Remember.
Oh yeah.
But Ghostbusters Afterlife, like I'm glad we watched it. I'm not disappointed.
Yes.
Like I
didn't really have any expectations for it, honestly, so that helped. But it on that level, it was more fun than I kind of was expecting because it was nice that it wasn't corny or stupid humor at all. I did enjoy that it was
there was no
some good heartfelt, and I really liked like Phoebe's story about really kind of trying to embrace who she was and the forgiveness of past things with family and everything like that. So seeing something from a different point of view, like there's some really good story points in there and some lessons. So that is definitely, ramps up the kudos for it. So
yeah. So last week we talked about 3 movies in our Rad Nisa segment.
Yes.
And it was all leading up to this glorious moment where we get to talk about Jackass Forever. Now, I know it's going to sound kind of funny that we kind of gave shade on Ghostbusters Afterlife for being the same. But Jackass Forever is pretty much the same as the other ones, but still pretty friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
We went to the theater. We decided, you know what? We're going to do this. And I laughed. Pretty much for the entire 90 minutes.
Yep.
I didn't know if I was either going to pee myself or cry. My face hurt from laughing.
Yeah.
Because basically a lot of the gross that we talked about from the prior isn't really in it as much.
A lot of the really jerky, like stupid, gross stuff. Yeah.
There isn't the pooping.
Yeah.
There isn't the vomiting. Well, there is vomiting. There's vomiting.
But you know what? They didn't have as much of a focus on it, right?
Yeah.
So, there was only just that little bit of gross.
There isn't a lot of there isn't the self-harm either.
Yeah. Not the stuff that totally made me super squeamish.
There is still harm.
Yeah.
Let's say. But the only thing is that there's a lot of penis.
There is.
There's a lot of penis.
Full frontal staring at Steve-O's complete birthday suit for a little while was just like, wow, there's a naked man standing there with
bees on his dick.
You didn't think that one was going to happen. Yeah, that was painful to watch.
Instead of a beard of
You know
bees,
what I just kept saying?
A penis of bees.
Steve-O, why? Just why? Why are you doing this?
It's all for entertainment. It's all for your entertainment. Because you laughed. You laughed.
I still laughed even though I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
It was painful. It was painful to watch.
Right?
The opening scene is probably the most vulgar.
It was so surprisingly amazing. Awesome.
Never more have you ever thought, hey, you know what? I want to see a man's penis painted up to look like Godzilla attacking a town.
Things I never thought I would see. Things that would have been really funny to watch being filmed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that opening scene was just hilarious and just...
That was a whole new level of movie magic spectacularness. Right? I mean, because then you have all the actors in the crew and everything, and you have them being filmed on the set, and then you have it swap, and then you have the puppetry. The puppetry of the penis being this giant Godzilla type thing
attacking. What did you think when he sprayed his atomic
when he
blast?
Jizzed all over them? That was fucking amazing. It was so gross. Even though you knew it was like glue or whatever they were shooting out at them. Oh my god, it was so funny. It's like, you know it's not real, but you're still watching this
because it was a movie.
Penis monster shoot all this stringy white fluid all over the place.
Like a fire hose of it.
Oh my goodness.
But because it looked like they were dying too, and they were screaming.
It was like acid. They were like melting or something from it.
And then when the guy spat it out.
Oh, it was.
That's how it started.
Yeah,
that's how it started.
Oh, it was a good time.
And I laughed hard.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite stunts that you saw in there?
So, my favorite I think was the cup test.
The cup test, yes.
So they had a couple different.
3. Four.
Oh, there was 4. I couldn't remember the 4th one. So a couple different scenarios of the cup test. The first one was a heavyweight boxing. So they had told him that it was a lightweight boxer. It's like, oh, no big deal. He's like totally fine.
Yeah, MMRA or something. Like
yeah, and they bring this guy in, and he's got like the heaviest punch on record. His heavyweight. They
like
looked
getting
it up.
Hit by a Ford Escort or something.
Escort, yeah, going at like obscene amounts of. It was recorded as like the heaviest punch or something like that. So they're looking this up and reading it to him, and it was awesome because the boxer's like, dude, you need to stop. Don't read it to him now.
Yeah.
Like, the look on his face was hilarious and also
it was
sad.
hard not to laugh.
I'm surprised he didn't vomit.
Also not feel for when he got hit in the nuts.
His face, it didn't even register pain. It was just
sadness.
Shock. Like sadness, exactly. There was so much pain, it was sadness.
Like you could just see
like he was dying inside.
Like, this is my life. Like flashing before my eyes as he slid down the wall. After like it looked brutal, but I laughed.
Right? Well, the boxer said he could hear a crack.
Yeah.
Of something, and the 4th one. Now I remember the 4th one.
So the second one was
a softball being chucked at him. He kept moving. They said
he was
moving. So then she nailed him in the thigh multiple times. The bruise. Oh my goodness! Like. And then she finally did nail him, and she was so proud of it too.
And he went down.
Well,
when she went under and it hit the wall, you could see it in his face, like, oh shit,
what have I gotten myself into?
And then she hit him, and he just.
And they're like, "Come on, dude, it's a softball." He's like, "There's nothing soft about this."
Oh.
Oh, he just buckled. And then the third and the best one was hockey. Hockey puck to the nuts.
PK Subban.
It was they brought him out. He was in full goalie gear except for his crotch was out, which was hilarious to see.
When he fell face first.
Oh,
he hits him with the puck in the mask.
Oh.
It was nice. It was so clear and clean that just slow-mo of the puck going towards him and just hitting dead on, like would have been at the bridge of his nose.
Yeah, and then you can see the mask just vibrating and shaking.
Yeah.
And like the reverberations on that thing and the flex that happened. Oh my goodness. And so then, it nailed him and he just buckled.
Yeah.
And what they figured was like, 85 miles an hour?
Yeah.
It actually dented the cup.
Yeah.
It was a metal cup that they used and they showed it and it dented it.
Yeah.
Which was pretty insane. So that would have been stressful because he would have been cold too and all that stuff on him. So.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last one was...
This one was cringy, though. It
was Bill, because he actually got hurt, but he got a pogo stick. This guy pogo sticked on him, which was like, when they were saying this, I'm like, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Why are there, like, things could go so seriously wrong. Like, can you imagine if he'd overjumped and pogo sticked on his abdomen? Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, this was horrible. Like, is it getting set up for this? And I'm like, no, make it stop.
As he starts bouncing, you're just like, yeah.
And then, he landed on him and then he dragged down and pulled on his testicles and actually made him bleed.
Yeah.
And the guy stopped and he looked mortified. Like, it was immediately everyone regretted their choice of doing this. You could tell. They were just like, holy shit, what have we done?
Yeah.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah, that was like the boxer and the softball and the hockey
but the pogo stick was a whole nother level.
Was too far.
Was too far, man. Too far. What about you?
I really like the one where they locked them in a room. They told them that they were going to do a stunt with this king cobra, and then when they got them in the room, they locked the door and turned the lights out. And Johnny Knoxville was in there with night vision and tormenting them. So the camera was on night vision as well. Right. And he was going around and like poking them or throwing things at them and they were freaking out.
It was like watching a horror movie.
Yeah. And the one guy, he was underneath a table and just like hold up like.
He was just like, nope, not coming out.
And then John Knoxville takes like a taser to him. And then he finds a door and he's like, I found a door. I'm going through this door. And the guy's like, no, that's too convenient. It's too convenient.
He's like, no, I found a door. He's like, no, it can't be good. I'm not going. You go to the door. I'm not going to the door.
He walks to the door and he hits his head into like a cast iron frying pan. And he falls to the ground. And then there's like marbles and mouse traps and tacks and all this other stuff.
Still in the dark.
And it was just, and then they made it sound like the snake had come out, and they clipped something to the one guy, and then he started panicking, and then they're like, oh no, he's got bit, we gotta get him to the medic, and he opens up the door and runs into the frying pan. And then he freaks out and falls on the marbles and the tacks, and then tries to launch over the table that had mouse traps on it. It was just hilarious.
Like really horribly mean, but it was amazing.
Like that, yeah. It was just, there was the flip flop on like a pneumatic.
Yes,
like
ball slapper.
Yeah,
it was like a giant. It was a giant mechanical arm.
Yeah,
and basically they were playing a trivia game, and if they got the question wrong, they got slapped in the dick with a flip flop.
Oh yeah.
I never have I more wanted to try to do this, by the way. Like, I'm like, flip-flop, excellent ball slapping.
Oh, no.
So, Mike's going to start being like Knoxville and just...
I've already, since you watched this movie, been walking around with my hand on my nuts. Because you've tried to nut me a few times.
We already have a kid. We're good. I'm just joking. I don't want to cause you serious pain.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the dum-dum game.
Yeah.
So, and then you want to be launched in the giant rocket like Knoxville, play Icarus here.
They threw, you've probably seen it in the trailer, but they shoot him out of a cannon. That was just amazing.
The giant feather rings, he was playing Icarus.
Yeah, that one was really cool because that was epic to see the height that he got on that. Like, that was just spectacular.
They had this giant, like, lube slide down this giant dirt hill. The thing was so steep. They careened down it. It was brutal.
Like, I look at that and think, how fun would that be if you could find a hill that went into a lake?
Right?
Right?
It would be amazing.
Like, just to go launch, like, I don't want to launch onto the dirt because that's way too painful. No. But like to use they use gallons of lube.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it looked amazing to go sliding and how fast they were going.
I love how they tried to ride one another, but then immediately fell off because they were just going so fast.
Oh.
The giant wind turbines were pretty cool. So they had like 100-mile-an-hour industrial fans. And then they set up a parachute and then launched themselves from this. And that was pretty epic.
You know, it's even though we're telling you things about it, it doesn't do the justice to see the pain.
Because you need to see their faces.
And the expressions and everything that happens. Because it's still hilarious. Like, I honestly think that even though a lot of the original crew doesn't take part in a lot of these stunts, that's the only thing is that they've recruited some new guys.
Yeah, new guys that have now fallen into their group and would have grown up and loved this stuff, right?
Yeah, they do a lot of some of the more dangerous stuff versus, you know, the main crew. But like 3 and 4, it probably goes 4, 3, 1, 2 as my favorite Jackass movies. But like this was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like this was like the just memories and like those things that the stupid stuff, and to see like these guys are still like, even them, they're like, I don't know why we're doing this. Knoxville called us and we were like, okay.
Like the human ramp,
right? Oh,
like that was another thing. I'm like, yep, that would be interesting to try.
Right? Like
why not? Who hasn't thought, let's stack some of my friends up and put a wood plank over them and see if we can use them as a ramp? I mean,
right?
Legit.
They're just, there was painful things in it, but there was just some funny stuff. Even some of the stuff that we see in the trailers was still funny. Like
running into the wall with the bike.
Yes.
Still fucking funny. I even knew exactly what was going to happen.
We even saw it before the movie.
Like, it was twice.
Yeah, they showed it.
And I was still laughed. I was like, this is amazing.
Right? Or the grandpa that gets launched into the ceiling.
Oh, yes.
Like, even though we've seen that in the trailer, it was still hilarious to watch in the movie. Or when Eric Andre got hit in the face from the coffee truck. Still funny. Like,
yep. Because it never stops being funny when someone gets surprised punched in the face.
Right.
It just doesn't.
It just... We are
or when a porta potty explodes. Still funny. I like the volleyball when he shoots that volleyball at Steve-O's face. He uses like one of those like high speed, like the wheels that spin around.
The football.
Yeah,
they're for football.
Oh, good gracious. And he shoots this volleyball at Steve-O's head.
Oh.
It's good times.
That's what we need.
One of the things that launches balls?
Yes. And dildos. Like,
because I really want to figure out how to do that.
Just like...
I want one of those floppy dildos and I can shoot it at people. So we went and had beers after this because we had to relive and laugh about this. Obviously, we're still laughing about this. And I was like, this movie shouldn't have made me be like, what stupid shit can we do? But it totally did.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. Totally. You came home and sprayed Kiddo in the face with the cat water bottle.
Oh, my God. He's on the phone with his friend and he's playing his video game. And I'm like, I took the cat water bottle and I just sprayed him right in the face. Oh, it made me so happy. Like, so much joy. So much. He was just like, what the heck? It's happening again. It's going to be amazing.
But, you know, it's just...
I told him that's how I was going to wake him up in the morning. Spray bottle in the face, yo. But I have to watch because then he says he'll get even on things. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, no, like... I look at these and like, I know we're not buying a lot of discs and stuff, but like, I want the 4-pack.
This is why you can't learn how to skateboard, because you'll do stupid shit. But we have skateboards, so what can we do?
We gotta learn how to use them first.
But we can sit on them and roll on things. We can rocket launch things. I'm not even drinking and I'm still thinking of this stuff.
And that's the thing, though. They're all sober and like they dumped 5 gallons of pig semen on someone.
Oh yeah, they did.
And
I'm the vegetarian of the group.
I loved his response. It got in my mouth, dude. I'm a vegetarian.
I love that. Is it Chris? Right? he's the one that drank the horse semen.
Yeah.
Before, and he compared the pig semen and the horse semen. And I'm like, things that a person shouldn't be able to do. Yeah. Compare them.
Yeah, and that almost made Knoxville vomit.
Yeah. When
he takes it because of the smell and all that.
He's like, yep, that is definitely semen. Oh my god. That's so wrong. Oh yeah.
But it was a good laugh. Like, it was just one of those things where you could just literally just forget about everything for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And just because there's no story.
No, that's what's great. It just flew by.
Literally just watching people do stupid shit.
Yeah.
That you'd want to do, but you're like, I'm safe now. I can just watch these poor bastards put their bodies through pain and harm.
So I would also like to point out that this was one of the most enjoyable theater experiences I've had in a while, because there were no douchebags in the theater. Everyone had their phones away and just were watching the movie and laughing.
Yep. There was no one
So
talking.
I would like to point out that all the people that came and watched Jackass were more respectful in the theater
than Spider-Man, than Endgame, than like, any of the Star Wars movies.
What the hell is that?
Because they all knew that we were just going to laugh.
Right?
We were all going to have those memories.
And you have to make sure you watch it. You don't want to miss someone getting hit in the face.
Right?
You got to pay attention.
Right?
Like,
when you have a little machine that punches at rapid speed into a man's testicles,
you don't want to miss it.
You need to see that. Because you never know when something's going to explode and shoot someone into the sky.
Right? It was interesting to see, because we commented how Knoxville is very much the producer, always egging people on. But this one showcased how much Jeff Tremaine, the director, is also that way.
Yeah. He
was very much like, well, we have to do this again, guys, because I didn't quite get what I wanted.
Yeah.
And very much talking them into stuff. Yeah. So the tap dancing. The electric tap dancing.
Slide.
And the electric slide. And then they electrified the piano seat, too. Oh, they flew when they saw. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. But yeah, I look at those and the things where
I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah. No, yeah. I am. I totally am.
So.
I look at it and you're right. You think the warnings at the beginning are like, hey, don't try this. And you're like, what can we do that won't get us arrested or seriously hurt?
Yeah.
So yeah,
spraying kiddo in the face with a water bottle.
And that's why pranks are funny and that kind of stuff is funny. So, but maybe we buy a van and we buy a football thrower and we just drive around shooting dildos at people.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good. So when you see the news article, a couple arrested for shooting dildos at people at high speed, you'll know Cubba Rad's there.
Hey, if you're gonna go out,
or a fan of Cubba Rad, I don't know.
Good. If you're gonna go out big.
Right. Good stuff.
No.
So yeah, it was a good day yesterday.
Yeah. Hey, so the place we went when we had beer, they brought out hummus.
It was mind-blowingly, like,
transcendent
hummus.
Like, usually we love eating their fries and stuff, and they got a hummus and they had a nice balsamic drizzle on the top.
Might need to go back next weekend.
and then the chips they used, they put on this thing. It's like campfire spice. It's kind of like a Cajun, but it's a little sweeter.
Yeah.
They made their chips with that, so you had these
fresh, warm pita chips.
With spicy, sweet pita chips dipped into this garlicky, balsamic drizzled.
It was hummus. Garlic and dill, actually.
Yeah.
Oh no, garlic and basil. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, dill wouldn't have been right. Basil. Yeah. It was good. It was so good.
It was spectacular.
Kind of drooling thinking about it right now.
Right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So that made the cap of the, after laughing our butts off at Jackass, to go have a couple beers and talk about some of our favorite moments.
Yeah. And it's good times.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe we see the only way that doing some of those things are going to be funny is if we're able to figure out a way to film stuff too, though.
Yeah.
So now I know if I ever see you with your phone out and
some shit's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. Then I get
you know what we decided?
In the balls.
We're already planning April Fools for Kiddo. And we're not going to say anything on here in case he listens. Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
I've never before more wanted to celebrate April Fools. I'm so mean. He's old enough to deal with it now. He wanted to know about the world of Jackass. He can deal with the consequences.
You know, there's one thing that I am appreciative that I can enjoy this stuff with you as a being. Like,
right?
Like, how many people? You were the only. There's one other woman there.
Yeah, but
everyone was dudes, and I appreciate that you're able to, you know,
that I was there still laughing as hard as everyone else.
And see, like, she's the one thinking about more of the stupid things we can do or how we can. She's like, how can I tap you in the nuts and make you crumble? That's what she got out of it. So,
yeah, good times.
But Jackass Forever, if you get a chance, and if you like any of the other, like, you know, people getting hurt.
Yep.
It's good for a laugh.
Good times.
Good for a laugh. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. Throwback.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
all sorts of fun things.
That's it.
So yeah, next weekend is Valentine's Day weekend, and
the one with all the romance.
Oh,
you already got the title.
Look at that.
I bet you're just tantalized with what's gonna.
What will Katie allow for romance movies that will not turn into Cup of Rage?
So there you go.
There you go.
Something to look forward to. You know, we'll break out a bottle of wine and some bonbons and watch maybe a pint of ice cream and
sweet.
And watch some
bonbons and ice cream.
Romantic dribble.
So fantastical. So excited.
You should be.
Yeah.
You should be.
Well, everyone, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
And remember, dudes, stay rad.